right. After last month's stunning upset to Chad Olson, it's time to see if Jon can pull himself up by his bootstraps and get back on the winning track. We were talking about the feud earlier between the Wrights and Rossi and Bearcat, and that sort of shows you how you keep guys fresh even after a loss. And I guess it's now my job as booker of this trivia thing to see if we can keep Jon fresh after a loss. So let's meet your opponent this month. And I have to say, it truly is an honor to have him on the podcast.
My name is Ian Riccaboni, and I challenge Jon Boucher to a round of Gordon Solie's trivia.
All right. Well, Ian, I think most of our listeners are familiar with you and your work, but just in case there's a few stragglers out there, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Al. I have been the play-by-play voice of Ring of Honor for over 7 years now. It'll be my 10th anniversary with the company in July, and it's taken me all around the world. I've worked with New Japan, with AEW, so fans may be familiar with me from those spots as well. And it's a dream job. And Gordon Solie's Trivia is a game I've seen on eBay. I've almost purchased it, but I didn't out of the integrity of the game here tonight.
You mean you didn't want to try and read however many questions there are, memorize every single answer?
No, but I'll tell you who Carrie Silken and we used to do a podcast 55 and 5 where we went through the entire Parkhurst wrestling set. So I'm hoping that I remember some of that. What's interesting about those videos, more people have watched them over the last year or two since we've made them than they did when they were initially out. So I've checked in on a couple. There's a mystery wrestler, which I think I may have hit you up about. I can't find anything about this person. There might be a ghost wrestler in this set, somebody that literally does not exist. So I've tried to refresh myself a little bit, but there's 121 cards in this set. I couldn't possibly cram in the few days that I had notice here. So I'm going in. I'm a little trepidatious. Jon's a great player, and I can't wait to see what happens.
All right, Jon, your thoughts on your opponent this month?
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Ian's. He's
fantastic.
Just fantastic, dude. He knows his stuff. I've watched that podcast with him and Carrie with the Parkhurst set. So he knows his stuff, man. This is gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one. Oh boy.
Let's go over the rules. So Ian and Jon have a refresher. Both Ian and Jon will have 20 seconds to answer each question. I will ask Ian all 4 questions first while Jon is in our isolation chamber. Ian can ask for a hint for one of the first 3 questions, and he must ask for the hint at the time the question is asked. The 20-second clock will be stopped while the hint is given, and you cannot ask for a hint for the 4th question. However, if Ian asks for a hint, Jon will automatically be given the same hint for the same question and be given a hint for the 4th question. The correct answer to each question is what's written on the actual game card. This is the Seinfeld Moops rule. The game was released in 1987. And if both Ian and Jon answer the same number of questions correctly, there will be a bonus question for a tiebreaker. All right, Jon, will you please step into the isolation chamber and put on your noise-canceling headphones? I think we installed a TV in there and got you a subscription to Honor Club so you can watch some Ring of Honor while you wait.
What a fantastic idea. Thank you.
All right, Ian, Jon is safely sequestered in the isolation chamber. Are you ready to play Gordon Solie's Championship Wrestling Trivia?
I am.
All right, question number 1. Now, before I ask the question, it refers to the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Magazine Awards. However, the awards prior to 1979 were actually given out by Sports Review Wrestling Magazine. So I'm a stickler for accuracy. So the question, what was Pro Wrestling Illustrated Magazine's Match of the Year in 1973?
I'm going to ask for a hint right away.
Okay. You've asked for your hint with about 1.5 seconds elapsed. Hint. This was a major title change discussed in one of the 4 books I have released to date.
Oh, geez. Okay, 1973. Let's see. San Martino de Cola.
10 seconds.
I'm going to say Ivan Koloff, Pedro Morales for the WWF World Championship.
That is incorrect.
Oh,
The correct answer, Harley Race versus Dory Funk Jr.
Geez. Okay. See, that's this I'm from Allentown, the Northeast bias coming through here.
I understand. I get it. Believe me. That was, and Pedro was 71. The switches with Ivan were 71, but you're pretty close on the time frame. All right. Question number 2. Which Canadian wrestling family included members Butcher, Mad Dog, and Vivian?
Oh, yeah, I should be kicked out of ROH if I don't get this one. The Vachons.
That is correct.
All right.
1 for 2 with 2 more questions left to go. And of course, you have used your hint, so you may not ask for a hint for this question. And of course, question 4 is hintless for you. So question number 3, what street did the fabulous Freebirds reportedly grow up on?
Well, the further down the block, the better it got. That's Bad Street, USA.
That is correct. And I'm also going to add, I also would have accepted Bad Street, Atlanta, Georgia, or Atlanta, GA. Although the card does actually say Bad Street, USA, but I think it's reasonable to accept Bad Street, Atlanta, Georgia.
Sure, I would agree.
Yeah, so you are 2 for 3. So here's your final question, and it is a fill in the blank question. The blank Adrian Street.
Exotic.
That is correct.
Yeah.
All right. Ian, you have gotten 3 out of 4 questions correctly. Let's signal for Jon to come out of the isolation chamber and see how he does. Jon, welcome back. Ian correctly answered 3 out of 4 questions. He used a hint for question number 1. Okay. So you will get a hint for that question as well as for question number 4. Okay. So Jon, are you ready to play Gordon Solie's Championship Wrestling Trivia?
Ready.
All right. Before I ask question number 1, a brief preface. While the question refers to the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Magazine Awards, as we've discussed before, the awards prior to 1979 were actually given out by Sports Review Wrestling magazine. So question number 1, what was Pro Wrestling Illustrated Magazine's Match of the Year in 1973? And your hint, a major title change discussed in one of the 4 books I have released to date.
Would that be Harley Race versus Dory Funk Jr.?
That is correct.
Oh, this is shouldn't have worn this gray T-shirt so you'd see me sweating through it like Rocky. Jeez.
Yes. All right. Question number 2. Which Canadian wrestling family included members Butcher, Mad Dog, and Vivian?
Be the Vachon family.
The Vachon family is correct. 2 for 2. Question number 3. What street did the fabulous Freebirds reportedly grow up on?
That would be a Bad Street in Atlanta, GA.
That is correct. Okay. I would have accepted Bad Street, Atlanta, GA, Bad Street, or Bad Street, USA. All 3 are clearly correct. If we want to be technical, the card says Bad Street, USA, but you are 3 for 3 with question number 4. And if you get this right, you win. If not, we go to a tiebreaker. And remember, you will get a hint for this question. This is a fill in the blank question.
Oh boy.
The blank Adrian Street. And your hint, synonyms for the word include alluring, bizarre, glamorous, and peculiar.
Go with exotic.
Exotic Adrian Street.
With an X, not an R.
Correct. Jon, you have recovered nicely. You have a perfect 4 for 4, and you have won the first match in your comeback on the comeback trail in the hopes of perhaps getting another shot at Chad Olson down the line. But a tough challenge from Ian Riccaboni. Just so you know, he was unable to answer question number 1 correctly, but got questions 2, 3, and 4, which, let's be clear, were all quite easy.
Thank you.
Relative to what we normally have. Question number 1, was a tricky one, but the hint was a fair hint for both of you. And yes, you have defeated a legitimate television wrestling announcer.
Yeah.
How does that feel, John?
Oh, it feels great. I am in the ring now, raising Ian's hand and going like this. It's such a worthy challenge. You
also need to go online to Twitter after this podcast comes out and say, guys, don't sleep on my opponent. He's a great. That's the thing all wrestlers do nowadays.
That's what we got to do now.
They hate each other in the ring, but then they put each other over on Twitter. So please go ahead and put Ian on Twitter. Put him over on Twitter as well.
Noted. Will do.
Well, Ian, before you leave, I want you to tell our listeners what's on the schedule for you and for All Elite Wrestling / Ring of Honor.
Oh, there's a lot on the table. I'm so excited. Next Thursday, in fact, Thursday, June 20th, dream comes true. We're doing AEW Collision and Rampage in the beautiful PPL Center, the brand new building in downtown Allentown. Allentown is my hometown. This is the first television broadcast of wrestling from Allentown since 1984. We've had others in the Lehigh Valley, in sister city Bethlehem, but we have not had a televised wrestling broadcast to cable, to national TV since 1984. Allentown's too big, too cool of a city to go 40 years, and I anticipate, based on ticket sales already, that this is the first and won't be the last. I'm so excited to be in my hometown. I believe Ring of Honor might be doing some matches that night, so that's probably where you see me. So I'll get to actually be involved in my hometown, which would be kind of cool. And I've just been, I just can't wait. But you can see me every Thursday night on Honor Club as well. So Thursday will be live to tape. So if you come out and see us in Allentown, you can see that on Friday night and then Saturday night. But if you're at home, if you're not in the Allentown area, you can just sit home, the comfort of your own home. Go to watchroh.com, check out the latest episode of Ring of Honor every Thursday. And just announced July 26th, we have an Honor Club exclusive event, Death Before Dishonor. It's our huge summer event every year. The championships are almost always on the line, and I can't wait. Especially we have Athena, who's run off 52 wins in a row as champion, the most dominant champion. We're putting her name alongside the names, rightfully so, of Nigel McGuinness and Samoa Joe, some of the greatest Ring of Honor champs of all time. So we got a lot cooking over there as well. So I hope everybody checks out AEW when you can. Dynamite on Wednesdays, Rampage on Fridays, Collision on Saturdays, and then a Ring of Honor to bridge the gap on Thursdays. Just so much cool stuff going on right now.
All right. Well, there you go, John. Back on the right track.
Back on it.
Back on the win column.
Mm-hmm.